Hi, Robert. I met you the first time in a company in Netherlands. I forgot the name of the company. And what was
The
it?
name was CGI.
A CGI. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. I got a
Yes.
satellite from them, right? So there was a white
Yes.
satellite. Yeah, it was 3D printed. Okay. And the funny thing was, so I hacked something for the audience. I guess it was microservices with Java E. And I always do the Maven clean install. And you said all the time, please don't use clean. Install is enough. And
No, it's
yeah,
even worse.
yeah. And the next time, the cool story was I was the next time at CGI. And I asked, is Robert here? And they told me no. Then I started, Maven clean install again. and and then I asked them, who are you actually? And they told me he's a Maven committer. And I said, okay, that is actually an interesting story. And what I did before vacations, I created a small tool with watches a war folder, all source main Java stuff, and on every change it builds and deploys a war, or deploys it, copies the war to auto deployment folder of the application servers. And for that, I used a Maven invoker.
Mhm.
And I did some research, and I found your last blog post and about Maven invoker from 2012.
Oh, that's old.
Yeah, and then I thought now we have to talk because you seems to have interesting topics. So now what I would like to know is what was your road to Java first? So how you start programming? When was it and how?
Oh, that started just before 2000, I think. And I did a study for information technology, and that's how it all started. I actually started with electronics the first year, and then I decided, well, this is not really my kind of stuff, and I had a couple of lessons programming, and I liked it a lot, and so I switched to a different course, and that's how it all started. And they also started using Java there.
So there is no usual history with 2 years you wrote your first assembler program or something like this.
No, not for me.
So you were not interested in programming as a teenager?
No, not really.
And what you did, do you had a computer and you play something or nothing? No contact with PCs?
Well, the only thing, my dad had a quite an old Atari, and this was one with the keyboard, so I was able to program a little bit, but I
Was
wasn't
it
really
the 800 XL or the 500 ST?
the 800 XL.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
So this was a dream machine for me.
Absolutely. So that's where it all started. But Java was quite late for me.
No, but you did something with BASIC?
I did a little bit of BASIC, yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, this is what I wanted to know.
Okay.
So how old were you starting BASIC?
I think I was about 10 years old.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
And why you did it? So was your first contact with the computer how it happened? You remember that?
Well, it's long. I think it's there were a couple of things. One was, of course, programming, and we had this books, and you can just write everything that was inside this magazine, and that should give you a program. And then I started to understand what was happening over there. So understanding all the for each loops, the peaks and the pokes and the go-tos. So this is still basic.
Yeah, but why you did it? So I mean, you
why? Just to see some results. It kind of interested me that if I was programming something and see the results of it.
Okay, so there was a computer and it was in the corner, and you just turned it on and they wanted to do something with it.
Yes.
Okay, and there was no interest in gaming, just with BASIC.
Gaming, of course, as well. Yes. Yeah. But those are huge programs, so and it was kind of complex to write. But you have to start small, of course.
Yeah, of course. So, and after Atari, what you did then?
MS-DOS.
Cool.
So starting some batch scripts to provide a startup screen to say you're going to start this game.
Yeah, config sys was big back then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. and the auto exec, I think,
Yeah.
on the floppy disk. So if you insert it, it will start immediately.
Yeah, and RAM disk and extended memory. This was perfect.
Yeah.
So you did it then, and the next language after BASIC was?
I think it was Java actually during my high school.
Cool. So when you started with Java, which version was it? You remember that?
1.4.
Wow, it's pretty late actually.
Yes, pretty. Yeah, I think so. And I'm also still certified for Java 1.4, and so I didn't do any updates on that. So officially, I'm not certified to use generics, etc.
Oh, so this is almost illegal what you are doing right now, right? Without
yes,
and even worse with Oracle, because now your certification is not officially approved, I guess.
it was a Sun certified.
Yeah, I know. I have actually everything from Sundays, but I think it was even earlier. So my certification were around 2000, so I have everything from 2000, and I think it was before 1.4 then.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And you like Java from the beginning, or was it strange, or what was the relation? I mean, if you have to learn it at school, it's a strange relation, I know, but what was the impression?
Well, at school, I learned a lot of languages for any generation. So I did assembly as well, but also logic programming. But for the fourth generation, I used Java, and it made sense to me. So you noticed quite well that half of the class was struggling with programming, and the other half did quite well.
Okay, so you like that from the beginning.
Yeah, I did.
So, and then you stick with Java, or what was the road, to being a programmer, or to telling me not to use Maven Clean?
Okay, so this had nothing to do with Java. Actually, it was all about my interest in build systems. Because I was working for a company, and every time when we started a new project, we had to copy and paste our AND scripts. And I thought there must be a better solution, and then I discovered Maven. I think at that time that it was still Maven 1. And that seems quite good, and that should be the product I was looking for. It took me quite some time to really understand what Maven is doing, but once you see the light, it is so powerful. And
okay, then, so what I understood is after the high school, you did some work with Java, but was not satisfied how the bootstrap process of the whole project.
Exactly.
And which work you did then? Was it server side? Was it?
It was mainly server side, yes.
And is it in Netherlands, or was it? What was the first coolest project, or what you did? So I'm just curious about you.
So the first coolest and is it's called Uit in Brabant. So going out in Brabant. It is one of the provinces of the Netherlands.
Cool.
And what they have is that for every country, city, they have a sub portal. So you have a couple of portals for the whole province. And there was, of course, the front for the visitors, but there was also a system for editors to write articles and etc. And there was a third system where some webmaster could construct new portals, new websites. So there were, in the end, three huge applications.
And this was one of your, and you studied computer science, or?
No, it's not really computer science. It was really about programming.
Oh, wow. How it's called then? Computer programming study, or was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, really? That's actually pretty interesting.
Yes, it's called higher information technology, I think. That's the best description, I think.
I think I have the same, but it's not like I'm not a computer scientist. I'm like a computer engineer or something like this.
Yes, me too. Yes.
So this is okay. So I have to look up what I actually studied. I forgot it. But you are right. So it's not like about theoretical computer science, more like it was applied sciences or something like this in my case. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So and this was your first job. Was it Java, I assume, on the server?
Yes.
Was it Java-E?
Yes.
Oh, which server was it?
I think JBoss.
Cool. And you were satisfied with the boss, but not with the process to the boss, right? So how to build the stuff.
Exactly. So because there were more projects, and you noticed that they were trying to use the same AND scripts, but you always have to copy, and then you were improving some thing on one project, and you thought it was also used on the other project, and it was implemented there. So it was terrible.
Yeah. It was, I think, around 2005 or 6. I was also in Java projects with, I don't think it was JBoss. I actually don't know what it was. Either it was starting Glassfish or BA, but we use also a Maven one. And what I remember is the nice start screen from Maven. It's like building reactor, so like ASCII art. You remember that? And this was like something happened on the screen, and then it was like, what's that? And they was, hey, it's Maven. And another funny story from that time. So Maven was based on on Jelly 1.
Yes.
And back then I was in a projects where they wanted to have everything configurable, and I'd never got it why, and then I got it because if they are able to configure everything in XML, then if they change the configuration, they didn't have to retest the whole application, which was strange. But then I said, okay, then we can improve everything. We can get rid of testing entirely. And they told me why. They asked me why. It's like, we can actually program with Jelly. So if we just take XML, we could write our code completely in XML, and you will never have to test your application. And then, of course, a joke, but but Jelly is really programming language in XML. And I think it was from Jason Van Zyl, right?
Yes.
And he apologized several times about that on conferences.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made a couple of mistakes with Maven 1, and they said, okay, so we really need to stop this and redesign it all and start with Maven 2. And I still think that's a very, very wise decision.
No, this Maven 1 just worked, but at the beginning, I was not satisfied with Maven performance. I even wrote a post like, why should you use AND over Maven? Because in my world, with the whole thin wars in Java-E, the AND was pretty simple. So I didn't have any dependencies. I had just one of these Java-E's 5 API, and this basically was. So I just built the war. And then AND built back then, I remember, like 1 to 2 seconds, and Maven was way slower than now. So it took, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seconds. I was too impatient. I said, never use Maven, use just AND. This Maven is way too bloated. But Maven 3, I think, improved the performance, right?
Yes.
Or if we go now from, and did you became committer from day one? Or from day one from a Maven 1 committer?
No. I started around Maven 3.03 or 3.04.
Okay.
So I was very, very late.
And you contributed a lot and became committer, or what was the road to commitment?
So the road to commitment was my interest, of course, with Maven, and I was working on a project which was still using AND, and I said, well, I think I can transform this to Maven projects. And this was quite a small company, and they were very excited about results. And there was one application which was using the Google Web Toolkit.
But I have to say this is terrible technology. So this is just my personal opinion, but
true.
Yeah.
But there was a Maven plugin for it, which could generate interfaces, and that was quite interesting. But there was one thing, there was one problem, and that it was losing the generics information from lists and maps.
Similar to JAX-RS.
Yeah, probably, yes. So I discovered there was this small library, it's called QDocs, and QDocs is a Java source code parser.
Mm-hmm.
And it was able to understand generics, but the whole information got lost during the parsing. It was just ignored. So I added that. It took me about, I think, 2 weeks. And then I had this huge pull requests and uploaded that. And then I had a look at the release notes or all the releases. And it seemed like I just had missed the latest release because it was done 2 weeks before that moment. The release before that one was 1.5 years. And I said, I'm not going to wait that long. So I went through the issue list. And because I had seen quite a lot of code already, I noticed that, probably this issue is over there and this one is over there. And within a couple of days, I had provided 10 extra pull requests. And then I got the invitation to join that QDocs team.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
And who approved your pull request? You still remember?
I think it was Paul Hammonds.
Okay. So how big is the Maven team right now, or how big was back then? So
I think QDocs was. I think that the Maven team was. I wasn't involved yet in Maven, but QDocs was used by several Maven plugins, and that's also how I got in contact with Benjamin Bentman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that time, probably 15 to 20 active committers on Maven.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
And then you stick with Maven. So committing to Maven, what was your, commit history? So what you improved?
When I joined the team, the first thing I did was picking up the Maven release plugin.
You know the video? How Maven release is broken? There's a funny video. I have to send it to you. It was completely funny. Someone says, it is like a fake, of course, but there is a comedian, and whatever happens, say, because Maven release is broken. And I will put it to the show notes. This is a really funny video. This is not true, but funny.
Okay, true. Okay, great. Several really interesting things is when I started with joining the Maven team, it was still based on Java 5. And I'm not sure when it happened, but we went to Java 6, and then it was possible to use the Java console for passwords. So in the beginning, if you want to encrypt your password, you always had to add some argument. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is if you take a look at your console history, you can see again, that was the password. Mm-hmm. So not only you, but also your colleagues could see it and whatever. So when we switched to Java 6, it was finally possible to just say, I want to encrypt the passwords, and then you get a new line, and you just fill in your password, and it's hidden for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I hated this because this was -d was really convenient to me. It's for my machine. Mm-hmm. And then I have to put the password. It's like, okay, this is more secure but more cumbersome because it's harder to automate.
Yes, but probably for good reasons.
Yeah, no, I'm just a user.
Yes. One of the other things is if you write Maven plugins, there was, in the beginning, you always could specify a default value and an expression, and everybody was confusing when to use what. Mm-hmm. And now we have changed that, and the expression, the idea behind that is that it could only contain one expression. And now we have renamed that to I think it was property. So now you just specify the property you expect people, which they can specify with -d. Mm-hmm. So the documentation is now much more clear.
Cool.
Yeah. So these are a couple of small things I did in the past. And
so I would say pragmatic, adjustments. What you didn't like in your daily work, you just improved, which is actually you can save time right now. I'm more satisfied and contributed something back without having a fork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's actually interesting. what we didn't cover so far was we have Maven 1 and the migration to Maven 2. So Maven 2 was complete different beast, right? What were the major changes between Maven 1 and Maven 2? Do you remember that? So from the architectural perspective, so Jelly is gone. So what was so what was the difference?
Like I said, I joined the team around 303, so it was way before me. But one of the other thing I noticed is the whole structure of the repository, and I think it had to do with the number of files you could get in one directory. It was way too much. It was and that made it very inefficient for the operating system. So right now they split the whole group ID into different folders.
Okay. And do you remember the difference between 2 and 3?
Oh yes. So one of the main reasons for Maven 3 was better integrations for the IDEs, and especially Eclipse wanted that. So that's the whole redesign of the architecture underneath Maven itself. So for the end user, there's no much visible changes to it.
And performance, right?
And performance, yes. What they did is that they extracted Ether. Ether is the one responsible for resolving dependencies, etc. And they were able to improve that a lot. In fact, at this time, somebody has found a way to even perform uploads and downloads even better, so that it will be as fast as a curl call.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's actually impressive.
This is really impressive. Yes, the numbers are looking really good. So I hope that we can do that with the next version of Maven. So I hope we can have a new version within a couple of months.
Oh,
yeah.
You mean major like 4 or 3.7?
3.7 probably.
Okay.
Yes.
And what would be the reason to have 4?
Okay. So I actually had said in the beginning that we are probably going to skip Maven 4 and go directly to Maven 5. And one of the reasons for that is that we want to improve the POM file. And most people probably know that there's one element you must always specify in it, and that's the model version, which is 4.0.0, and we want to upgrade it to 5.0.0. And it makes sense to keep that in line with the Maven version. So that's why we said, well, maybe we should skip 4 and just go directly to 5. But we have such a huge amount of IDs that we probably need to do it in a couple of stages. So we probably still need Maven 4 to prepare things for Maven 5.
Okay, so I understand. So Maven 4 will stick with the old POM, and Maven 5 will get a new or an improved version of the POM XML.
Yes, exactly. And we can already do, because one of the main issues we have right now is that the POM file you use on your system is exactly the one being uploaded to a remote repository. That is done by design, but right now we discovered that this is not a good solution. So what we are trying to do is we are going to split it, that the POM file you have on your own system can be changed during the upload.
And what would be the reason for that? So use case?
Okay, so some use case is that in the end, every tool needs to be able to read model 4.0.0 POM files. So if we want to add elements, then we need to be able to port it back to a 4.0.0 model. We want to introduce a couple of new elements. I think we want to do something with dependency global exclusions, which is not really possible right now. It's kind of hacky. I think there are some encoding properties you can already provide, but that should be official elements in the POM file. So there are much more, but these are a couple of things I can remember right now.
But with Maven 5, I would have an immediate idea what could be done is just to provide alternative format, right? You could just have JSON.
You can already do that right now.
Oh, how?
So what you can do is you can go to the website of Takari, and Takari has a project called Polyglot. And Polyglot provides you a way to not use XML as the POM file format, but a different kind of format.
Okay, but it's not like core Maven functionality, right?
No, it's an extension.
But this is what I meant, that you can have something like configuration loader, and this can be POM, could be Java DSL, or it could be something else.
Yes,
this could
that's exactly what that's exactly what this Polyglot can do for you.
But you don't planning this to re-include it to 5?
No, probably not. What we also know is that IDEs are very well capable to understand XML and to provide code completion, etc. And I'm not sure what will happen if we provide DSL or other formats.
No, just as an alternative in no way.
Yeah. But we are quite happy still with XML. So I think we should worry about other things.
No, I wouldn't provide JSON as a feature. I would just extract the configuration, say, if you really like, just do it. And for instance, with my small watch tool, I could just create on the fly my configuration. I don't have to create a POM for that. I could do whatever I like to do, right? It could be key value pairs.
Well, I think most people are not aware of the concept of extensions in Maven.
No,
it is very, very strong, and especially for these kinds of things you're mentioning right now, you can use extensions.
Okay, so it means the Takari is a standard extension of Maven, which provides already right now this functionality. So the problem is already solved because Maven has the capability by adding an extension to redirect from POM XML to something else.
Yes.
So when was it solved? Which version, you know it? With the extensions, or is it very old?
It's very, very old. I think it was already there in Maven too. I think.
Okay.
Yes.
I used extension for something. I forgot. I used extension for a minor thing, but the first time I encountered extensions, actually, for Java Maven is pretty boring. There's empty, so I don't have to do anything. But in one particular case, I forgot what it was. I will have to look it up. There was a killer use case for the extensions thing, but not replacing the POM. Forgot about that. Okay. Now we have version 3.6, right? And the next is going 3.7. Any ideas what will happen in 3.7? The safe harbor statement from Oracle we can put on the first slide,
Yeah, sure, I know. Yeah. Okay, so let me. I'm online, so why not have a look at it?
Yeah.
So let's see. So what I can do is we have a list of, we call it 3.7 candidates.
So
this
the most exciting feature for average user.
Well, I think the one I already mentioned is about this huge performance improvement for uploads and downloads. Let me see. Okay, so there's also something about caching. So what we did in 3.6 is we added caching, so not every parent has to be downloaded multiple times or parsed several times. But it seems like Eclipse was having trouble with that because it holds a Maven instance running. So it needs to be able to, if code is changed, it must be able to drop that cache somehow. So that was some sort of a regression.
So performance is going to be one of
performance is absolutely one of the most important things. We're also doing an update on Class World. Class World is our lightweight OSGi. And there were some issues when they tried to load classes from a specific module when running with Java 9 or above. So we did a small improvement on that. So now you should be able to write proper Java 9 Maven plugins and use the modular system for that as well.
Now, one concrete question, because you mentioned now Java 9, and for Java 9 you need the Maven compiler, I think 3.8. If you would like to use JUnit 5, the Jupyter, you need failsafe 2.22.1 or something. And
yes.
And the the question is how Maven knows which internal plugins are conventionally included. So I mean, if you have failsafe, for instance, so the Maven 3.6 right now assumes that the failsafe, I don't know the current version, is conventional. And if I would like to have higher version than this, I will have to configure that. So is it possible to tell Maven just pick the latest possible version from Apache?
No.
And is it hard-coded, or why? Who decides that, and why is this the way? So I would assume that you can actually have override this configuration and say, hey, Maven, whenever I start you, just use the failsafe and whatever, because I don't like to have it in my POM.
Well, we want to give you full control about the versions of your plugins. And what we don't want is that if there's some regression in a new version of a plugin, that we suddenly break your project because of that. So that's one of the reasons why we say we don't want to support latest or something like that anymore.
So you did it?
No. Yes, we did it in the past, and I think right now Maven is actually giving warnings if you are using plugins which don't have an explicit version.
I'm in a specific case because when I use plugins, it's just your plugins. So in my Java EE microservice project, there's actually no plugins required, so we are pretty thin. And if I have to use the plugin, it's because of Java 9 or Jupyter. So this is the only case I have, and this is strange to me because nothing will break. So if this failsafe plugin is going to have a regression in, let's say, version 3, my JUnit will stop working. And if the compiler plugin, it will break, but the build will break, and I will recognize that, and I can do something about that. But there's no way to specify it somewhere, right? So extension.
You probably could do that, yes, maybe.
But then I have to specify my extension in the POM, right?
No, you can also specify extensions in Maven itself.
Aha. Now, this could be a solution to my
yes,
dirty problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
this is a nice idea, actually.
Yeah, because what I really like to have, the POM XML should be empty in my projects. And just because I get Java 9 or 11 and I have to specify a lot, I don't like the idea. Because if I have something in the POM, it should be project specific. But right now I have to think about the infrastructure which is out of my control. Because this Java 9 and Jupyter, this just blurs the nice clean. So my POM is usually 30 lines of code.
I know.
Yeah, and what I get on top of that is some test dependencies, and that's fine. But the failsafe thing, what I already optimize is I skip the group ID, and I can just keep the artifact ID of the plugin because Apache is the default, and then the version. So it's a little bit better, but I don't like that. So it's this minor thing, but I really don't like it. And that's okay. But with the extension, could be interesting, right?
Yeah. Actually, there's right now a discussion about if we should update the current default versions for plugins to the latest ones or not, or if we should stick to quite low versions.
if you so my feedback on that was, if you expect the developers to have to specify the versions, I would go with the latest one, because then if it breaks as it was meant to break, because I didn't specify the version in the POM.
You should join our mailing thread about that.
Okay, so I'm not very good in online discussion. It always escalates or something. It's just, so talking is one thing, but if you formulate something via email, this is really hard to control. This is email is terrible in my eyes. So this is okay, but no solution here. So I was a little bit disappointed, but something could happen. You understand more?
Oh.
Yeah,
sure.
Cool. The next idea I have, or if you just do Maven install, never with clean, of course, and I have my
also don't run install.
Package. Yeah, this is I never package, because install war is stupid. It just copies the war into my repository. But I remember, I don't know from when, just install Maven package. By the way, this watch and deploy tool uses, of course, package, not install. So I remember that, and. Maven still takes longer than expected. So it takes, I would say, 3 seconds to compile and zip a war which is 4 to 6 kilobytes. It's like no empty ping, and it should be faster, I think, because if I would run just Java C and zip, it would be faster. So the question is, could we optimize that it runs in a second, for instance? I mean.
If we know where we are missing performance and what the reason is, yes, absolutely, we are interested in that.
Okay, because what I could do right now, my watch and deploy tool, it just runs all the time and watches the directories. I could actually profile that and see what happens behind the scenes.
Okay, cool.
Because usually Maven runs too short. If you start the profile, it's over. But this runs all the time, so I could take a look really what happens behind the scenes. And it uses, I don't know whether this is but the Maven invoker behind the scenes.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, so this is a six classes tool, and what I do just is this fully conventional. You can run it, you can drop it to a war project, and it expects to find POM XML, so it configures itself from that. It uses the invoker, starts, watches the directory, and on every change it rebuilds everything. And it knows the name of the war, because the name of the war is conventional to the name of the package. So it learns from that, from the folder, and then copies to your specified application server. And I use it all the time. I save a huge amount of time. And the average build starts with 3 seconds and drops to 2.7 seconds, because it runs all the time behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So the next question is, so discussion topic with you. You know Graal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and what I what I plan to do during the vacations, Christmas vacations, is try to run my Maven as a native tool.
Yeah.
Is it mission impossible, or it could be done? You played with that?
I actually spoke with a couple of guys from Graal already, and I think it should be possible to do that. Yes, but the whole issue is that we need to create native images for every operating system and architecture.
Yeah, but for Java E, it is absolutely possible. As I said, we don't have any plugins. You just need war and zip, actually. So therefore, for all Java E based microservice project, it could be perfect.
Yeah.
And but the way could be, I could actually take my what, because it uses the Maven invoker, and try to cross-compile that, right?
Probably, yes. I remember that we had one discussion about the reflection part, which should be optimized, and plugins. The configuration of plugins is always based on reflection. So you probably need to provide some information for Graal for every plugin.
Yeah, and I don't have just nothing, no plugin, just compile plugin.
Oh, in that case, then you should be fine.
Yeah. The next vacations I will try that, because this is really worth. Because then Maven will start probably in under a second, and and this would be a huge improvement actually for all lightweight Java EE projects.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, actually, cool idea. So it was already worth to talk with you.
Uh-huh.
And are you also aware of the Maven archetype plugin? So the
Yes.
archetype generator?
No, not the yes, a little bit. I'm not really using archetype a lot, so.
Okay, because there was some improvement, so probably I could take over and do something and send a pull request.
Cool.
Because what the archetype generator does, it always generates the POM parent. Also, the configuration doesn't work, and I don't have any parents, so it always generates a parent. I don't like it, so this should be a minor thing.
Okay.
So now it could be. So having said that, so the road to committer could be I do something interesting or useful, and after a view commits, or you could become a committer because no one in your team is interested or reviewing stuff, right? So they say, okay, now.
Well, I don't think I have mentioned that, but so if you take a look at the numbers, and you say that Maven is used by 60% up to 80% of all Java projects or Java developers. That's a huge number. And if you know that Maven is maintained by 5 to 10 active volunteers, so there's no company behind Maven. It's just only a couple of guys right now, that are spending their spare time to maintain this project, which is used by millions of people. So we are always looking for contributors, and we started something last year, and it's called Up for Grabs. I can provide you the URL, and
Please,
Up for Grabs is our issues that should be easy to resolve. So we are asking for people who are interested to help us. Just go to this URL, have a look at the list, and have a look at try to fix that, and we can help you to mentor you to provide proper pull requests. And if you are getting better and better, then in the end you can become a contributor for Maven.
And what we didn't mention so far, I met you at Java 1. I think it was 2-3 years ago.
Probably, yes.
And what was really impressive to me, so you were with another Maven committer there, right?
Yeah, yes.
And you both were completely focused on discussing something. And I say, hey, how this Apache thing works. Like, we are just volunteers. You would like to improve things. And you work really hard with the other guy. Who was it? You remember that?
I think it was Manfred Moser. I still have the picture from the three of us.
Okay. Who was the other guy? You remember?
Manfred Moser.
Moser, okay.
Yes.
And you both were completely, in the flow discussing something in Maven. And I saw, is this company or how are you doing? It's like, no, I'm just doing whatever in my spare time.
Yeah.
And this is remarkable because I also like building, but building stuff with Maven, or this is an interesting topic, but for many people, this is just boring, like build process. And they're still surprised that it works that way.
Yeah.
And the Jason Van Zyl, he has a company, right? This is Sonatype.
Yeah. No. Takari is his company.
Ah.
He used to work for Sonatype, but he left that company already quite some years ago.
Okay. So this becomes interesting. So what it means right now, the founder of Maven has Takari, and he provides the extensions, which makes this almost like a standard extension. So the problem is completely solved with my JSON.
Yeah, probably.
No,
but it's if you want to make it part of Maven core itself, then JSON should donate it back to the Apache Software Foundation.
Yeah, or if JSON has no time to do that, we can just rewrite it with.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what the Takari company is doing, you know it? So what is the business case?
I don't know. The last thing I heard is that Takari is working close with Walmart Labs, and there they are writing several Maven extensions or plugins to improve work on Walmart labs.
Okay, interesting. And Jason still commits code to core Apache Maven?
I haven't seen him for quite a while.
Okay, who is the most active committer right now? Or are there phases, like someone has some problem and commits a lot?
There are always phases. So I am one of the active. We have Karl-Hein Marbeze, who did a talk a couple of days ago, about the future of Maven.
Oh, send me the link, please.
I'm not sure if it was. I think it was a meetup, so I'm not sure if there's a video of it. Mm-hmm. Then we have Hervé. We have Tibor, who's working on Surefire, and we have Christian Stein. We have this new guy, Enrico. I think these are right now the most active people.
And all the committers are from Europe, or where they're coming from?
Most of them are, yes, actually. Yes.
It's surprising. Uh-huh. And why they're doing this is like they have some problems in projects and then get idea to contribute back, or no?
It's just passion. Okay. It's just that they see that, these are things which should be solved. So one of the things I did 2 years ago is when this whole module system started. Mm-hmm. The whole world was actually waiting for how Maven was going to solve this. Mm-hmm. And I spent quite some time to do that, and I had contacts with Oracle. I was also a member of the expert group regarding Project Jigsaw. And in the end, we were able to solve the whole module system problem. Mm-hmm. And I think Maven is, as far as I know, the only tool that has integrated support for the module system.
Mm-hmm. I remember that you found actually lots of issues, and you also had a conversation. You were a huge tester of the Java module system as well, right? Because you use Maven behind the scenes, and you contributed lots of feedback to that. You're probably aware of Gradle, right?
Yeah.
If you play with Gradle, what is your opinion, or what do you see? You like that, or is this interesting, or say superfluous, or what's?
So I never had to use Gradle.
Yeah, me neither. But sometimes I started because I get lots of questions about Gradle. So you never started that?
No.
Okay. This on So I had to use it recently. I did something with encryption and Bouncy Castle and tried Gradle. Yeah, and it just worked. For me, it was a little bit I would say the main ideas between Gradle and Maven are completely different, right? Mm-hmm. So this is why Maven is extremely conventional, which is perfect for my project, and Gradle I would be better suitable. It goes like Maven 1 with the jelly stuff. You can do whatever you like in the configuration, which is perfect if you need the complete flexibility, which I don't need. So, but I thought, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think it's good that there's a competitor in the build tool world. So I'm pretty fine with Gradle, and every project just has to pick their best tool for the problem. And it seems like in most cases, Maven is the best tool still.
Yeah. And there was even Apache, I think was called Builder.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's end of life. That's the only thing. Yes.
Okay.
So I think if you also take a look at the report from Snick.io, and where they ask about what's your main build tool, they only talk about Maven and Gradle or some other tool. So they don't mention any other build tool by name anymore.
No, I know. As a Maven is everywhere. So in all my project, I use Maven. But it still interests me, what we have something except Maven. So I know the Google uses Bezier.
Right? Yes. Yeah, Bazel.
Oh, Base. Yeah, and you took a look at that?
No. I heard about concepts, But I have way too much work on Maven itself, so I don't have to spend. I don't want to spend time on investigating other build tools.
Then, Ant, is it dead?
No,
it's still alive. I see it. There's Ant 1.9, and you know what happens there, or
it is still maintained, and it still depends on what you want to do. If you want to build a software project like Java, just use Maven or Gradle. But there are much more other tasks which doesn't fit very well in the Maven structure. Just use Ant in that case.
Yeah. And I saw even Ant supports Java 11, the newest version, which is was interesting. And what are you doing now for money? So in your leisure nights, you're hacking on Maven?
Yeah.
And what are you doing really right now?
So 2 years ago, I started my own company. So right now I'm a freelance consultant. So if people want to have consultancy support for Maven or builds in general, they can hire me. But right now that I don't have enough clients for that, so I'm also a software architect on a daily basis for the government here in the Netherlands.
Cool. And so you will be interested, especially for build-related stuff, to be the best, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like, just ideas, like, cloud integration, Jenkins integration, stuff like that. Could be.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. And what are you doing in your consulting work as an architect?
I just started this week for a new project, which has to do with the education, and the team I'm part of is responsible for online exams.
Okay.
So
certifications, Java, right? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, what's the name of the company? You have a
So my name, the name of the company is called SourceGrounds.
SourceGrounds, cool.
Yes.
And you provide me the link, so we put it in the show notes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So it was a pleasure. I learned a lot, and it was fun to talk with you. And why I'm doing the podcast actually is, I met you at Java 1, but because you were so focused, we never had time to talk.
No,
and this is
do it more often.
Yeah. What happens to me is, I actually, if I'm conferences at work, I talk for 10 minutes and then I have to go, but something happens. So, and the podcast is actually a great venue to take 1 hour time and talk about something. Yeah. And we can publish this right now. And if someone is interested in Maven, there is some even added value with that.
Perfect.
So then thank you. And Twitter handle or whatever else, blog?
Yes, I will send it to you. And
but we can RF Scholte, right?
Yes. My last name is hard to pronounce, so I'm quite happy that I'm the only Robert in the Java speaker stuff. So
I'm the only Adam.
Oh, but your last name is quite good to pronounce.
Bean, Java Beans. This was I'm really grateful for that. My last name is Bean. It's actually French Bien, but pronounced. And Scholte is not that bad. Your name.
No, it's not that bad. But I noticed that especially English-speaking persons have trouble pronouncing it very well. So.
Because with SCH. Oh, okay. But if you tell them this is SH, then like shell.
Yeah. Yes, something like that.
Scholte like shell.
No, officially it's Scholte. So that makes it hard.
Okay, perfect.
So if you just say Robert, and everybody knows it's me.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, and hear you at Maven 5 or 4 time. I will ping you and let's see what happens.
Let's do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.